Good morning, guys. Welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Let us start the session with a nice quote. It goes with guys who have been preparing for competitive exams. Work hard in silence, let success make the noise. While working hard, work hard in silence, let success make the noise. While preparing for the competitive exams, work hard, you have to work hard, but do it in silence. Once you get selected, let success make the noise. A very useful quote. Now let us see what is there to learn from today's session from proficiency point of view. You're not going to learn very tough words. Many of these words are rather easy and not too many words from today's editorial. The first word, vigil, to be alert or to be attentive in this context. Traumatic. Traumatic means deeply disturbing or deeply distressing. Traumatic, an important word. Trauma. From the word trauma, you get traumatic. Rigorous, thoroughly careful, or doing something extreme thoroughness with extreme thoroughness and trying to be extremely careful. Rigorous, usually it goes with training, rigorous training. Diligence, an important word. While preparing for competitive exams, you have to be diligent. Means what? Hard-working, putting in a lot of effort with a lot of care, diligence. Unwittingly, an important word, it means unintentionally. Mitigate, you have got many a time, to make something less severe. Underscore, emphasize something, underscore. Worse off, this is a phrasal verb. It means to be at a less advantageous position, not privileged to a great extent, at a less advantageous position. Not too many words, only 9 words, I suppose. 8 words here, but totally you're going to get 9 words from today's editorial. Today you're going to consolidate 6 idioms. Bear the burden, important one. Bear the brunt, very important. Bear with someone or bear with something. It goes with everyday English, rather easy. Bear testimony to, an important one. Bear in mind, this also goes with everyday English, rather easy. Bear false witness to, this is rather important. Besides these idioms, you're going to consolidate 5 phrasal verbs. Call for, important one. Call up, again important. Call out, important. It has many meanings. Call off, quite often you see in the newspaper, sports page. Call by, important. And you're going to work on spot the errors, Jumble, close test, and reading comprehension skill. Let us have a look at one of the headlines and see what is there to learn. US streets left scarred after 5th night of outrage. There are 2 words here. One is scarred, the other outrage. Violence spreads to major cities like Atlanta, Los Angeles, Portland, and Louisville. There's nothing to learn from this, but here there are 2 words. One is scarred, the other one outrage. First, you should know the word scar. A scar on the face means what? You get a mark on the face or on the skin because of a burn or because of a cut. We call that scar. Someone has a scar on the face, we say scar face. In fact, there's one English movie, The Scar Face. But here scarred has been used as a verb, scar, scarred, scarred. Past participle we can use as an adjective. What is the meaning of the word scarred as an adjective? A sign of physical destruction in a place. This meaning goes with this particular context. A sign of physical destruction in a place. Another meaning, a lasting after effect of trouble. But here, US streets left scarred after 5th night of outrage. A sign of physical destruction in a place. Example, the place has been scarred by the unruly crowds, uncontrollable crowds. The second word you can learn from this headline, outrage, part of speech noun. An extremely strong reaction of anger or shock, usually from the public, from people. Example, the public were outraged at the brutality involved. The public were outraged at the brutality involved. So you have to learn these 2 words. One is scarred, but the word scar as a noun, it goes with everyday English. There's a scar on the face, a typical example, but here a different meaning altogether. And outrage, an important word. Let us go to the editorial page and see what is there to learn. Open with caution. Today we are going to spend time on this particular editorial. On the left, the first editorial, open with caution. It talks about unlocking, and with caution. It has to be done with caution. Land of the unfree. There's nothing to learn from this headline. The waning of subaltern solidarity for Hindutva. Waning, slowly or gradually decreasing. Already have got the word. And subaltern, giving a lower status to something. It has got 2 or 3 meanings, but in this context it means giving a lower status to something. Solidarity, again you have got many a time, it means unity. The dimming, bright opposite dim. The dimming of a Chinese strongman's aura. This is an important word. Aura means the distinct atmosphere or quality created by a particular person. It goes with a person. That is one of the meanings. It has got other meanings. That other meaning goes with spirituality. Now let us go to the actual editorial. What is this about and how does it start? As open with caution on unlock 1. You can easily make out this editorial is all about unlocking the first page, unlock 1. And this editorial talks about what exactly happened during the lockdown. That is one thing, one dimension the editorial talks about. Now time has come to unlock, and what the center has to do, what the state governments have to do, what the public, people, they have to do, and what were the consequences of the lockdown. Now when they unlock, when the central government goes in for unlocking, what precautions have to be taken and what should be the direction. An easy editorial to understand should not be a problem. As I said at the outset, many words are rather easy. You have got many a time. And I don't see a lot of sentence patterns which are rather complicated. Overall, one reading, you should be able to understand this editorial. It talks about what was the impact or what happened during the lockdown. Now, at the time of unlocking, what has to be done. Now, let us see how it starts. Open with caution. It is like a suggestion. Open, now you're opening, it is to the central government, open, but with caution. Be careful, be cautious, and be alert on unlock 1. Open with caution related to what? Unlock 1. A resumption, this comes from the word resume. Resume is a verb form, resumption the noun form, to restart. A resumption of economic activity is essential, but the vigil on the virus must remain. There's one important word here, vigil. It means, in this context, to be alert, to be observant. A resumption of economic activity is essential. At this stage, it is essential, it is indispensable, it is rather high time. But the vigil on the virus must remain. We have to be alert about the virus, we have to be careful about the virus. That's what it talks about, because it hasn't disappeared completely. It hasn't vanished completely. Now it starts with what exactly happened during the lockdown. 2 dimensions. It is a truth universally acknowledged now that the severe restrictions to contain COVID-19 produced traumatic displacement of the weakest sections, downtrodden people, while the check on infection spread was modest. This sentence talks about 2 dimensions. One dimension, the impact of COVID-19 on the weakest sections, or the downtrodden people, or the underprivileged people, the traumatic displacement of the weakest sections. It made a tremendous impact on the weakest sections, negative impact rather, one dimension. The other dimension, that is very important from today's editorial point of view, while the check on infection spread was modest. The second dimension talks about the check. The check on infection spread was modest. Here the word modest means limited, relatively limited. You can also think of the word moderate, but here better expression would be relatively limited, restricted. It was not a grand success we could not control. In spite of the lockdown, it has been spreading. The centers move for a phased unlocking of public activity after the rigorous lockdown since March 25th sets the stage for people to resume their jobs and undertake some travel. Again, it talks about what is because of this unlocking stage 1 or phase 1, what has it done? It has set the stage for people to do 2 things. 1, to resume their jobs, the other to undertake some travel. Both are risky. People resume their jobs, they have to go to the workplace. I think last week we got one editorial, workplace related impact of COVID-19. And another dimension, when they start traveling, obviously the risk is very high. The Unlock One plan should ensure. Now on the editorial talks about what has to be done, how one has to be careful, and what measures the center has to take, and where should the focus be on. The Unlock One plan should ensure a careful restarting of activities. Careful restarting of activities, the most important of which is the delivery of goods and everyday services. One has to be careful, that is obvious, quite obvious, and ensure a careful restarting of activities. And among the activities, the most important of which is the delivery of goods, one thing, and everyday services, another thing, including health services unrelated to COVID-19 infections. Health services unrelated to COVID-19 infections. Latest data since the virus surfaced in the country show that 13 cities, including some of the biggest metros, host 70% of the cases. 13 cities, they host 70% of the cases. Rest of the country remaining 30%. So these 13 cities, including some of the biggest metros, they are the hot spots because they show they are the 70% of the cases belong to these 13 cities. And many of the earlier restrictions will continue there. Because of that, many of the earlier restrictions will continue there. Latest data since the virus surfaced in the country show that 13 cities, including some of the biggest metros, host 70% of the cases, and many of the earlier restrictions will continue there. Obviously, they have to be continued because they host 70% of the cases. Retaining curbs on big gatherings, such as in religious places, is reasonable. Another dimension, how to be careful. One, we have to continue with the curbs, those 13 cities. The second point here, retaining curbs on big gatherings such as religious places is reasonable, can be justified, given the history of these sites unwittingly becoming super spreaders. Religious places, obviously, they may become unwittingly. There is one important word here. Unwittingly means unintentionally, becoming super spreaders. A lot of people go to a religious place or a political gathering or some other social function. Obviously, these sites unwittingly or unintentionally become super spreaders. But states must show diligence. The word diligence I use regularly. One of the meanings of diligence. For success, I usually tell students, for success you got to be intelligent, you got to be diligent, and you should have the exam approach. Intelligent, you all know the word, and diligent means hard working. But states must show diligence in actively testing and quarantining individuals in cities with high incidence to significantly control the spread. This talks about, the first two sentences they're rather general from the center's point of view, and this particular sentence talks about what the states have to do. But states must show diligence. They got to be very careful, and they got to put in a lot of effort carefully, and they have to work very hard in doing what? In actively testing and quarantining individuals in cities with high incidence to significantly control the spread. Wherever there's high incidence, they got to be extra cautious so that they can control the spread of the virus. Then it talks about what will happen at this stage because of this unlock phase 1 at this stage. If someone is not very serious, whether it is a central government or the state governments, not very serious, they try to take half-hearted approaches, what will be the impact? The editorial says the impact is going to be very bad, negative. Half-hearted approaches to implementing the measures mandated, made compulsory by the national directives for COVID-19 management, such as those on face cover, physical distancing in public places, shops and establishments, spitting, and gathering in large numbers, can only worsen the crisis, especially with resumption of public transport. If these things are not taken care of, they're not strictly implemented, the situation will be worse, from bad to worse. And then it will be a major problem because of the magnitude, because of the numbers. All these things have to be implemented strictly. Half-hearted approaches very dangerous because it can only worsen the crisis, especially with a resumption of public transport. Once public transport like trains, buses, all these, people start going to the places, obviously, you can see nowadays, we see in a lot of cities, forget about the towns and villages, cities where you are expected to see educated people, they're not maintaining social distance, they're not using the masks, all these problems are there and very difficult to control. And the state governments or the center, they have to follow the measures mandated by the national directives for COVID-19 management. Citizens who have accepted severe citizens who have accepted severe curtailment of liberties during the lockdown can be persuaded to adopt a healthy public behavior code using measures that are civil yet firm. A lot of liberties have been curtailed because of the lockdown, and a lot of citizens have followed those the rules and regulations and whatever went with the lockdown. Here the sentence talks about there is a possibility for these citizens, once the lockdown is lifted, this unlocking phase 1, they may go a little off their track. Regarding that, the sentence talks about citizens who have accepted severe curtailment of liberties, the individual rights, liberties, during the lockdown can be persuaded to adopt a healthy public behavior code using measures that are civil yet firm. Some sort of apprehension, that sentence talks about some sort of apprehension from the public who got restricted for so many days, who have been indoors for so many days. Not very relevant in this context, in my opinion. Even with easing of the lockdown, the severe economic contraction caused by loss of jobs requires governments to demonstrate as much commitment to mitigating misery as to containing infection. Both are important. One is mitigating, means what? Mitigate, to make something less severe. Misery, loss of job and whatever it is, no income, nothing, as to containing infection. There are two problems here. One is livelihood, the other containing infection. Both have to be taken care of. A genuinely universal PDS, public distribution system, with adequate supplies of food grain, ensuring that no one is left behind, must be provided in all states. This talks about another dimension. What is that? A genuinely universal public distribution system or PDS with adequate supplies of food grain, ensuring that no one is left behind. Everyone should get the essential stuff and no one should be left behind. You have to remember that expression, must be provided in all states. Cash supplements should reach all intended beneficiaries. Again, they have to make sure cash supplements reach all intended beneficiaries. This needs to be underscored. Underscore here means emphasize. This needs to be underscored as surveys of workers who lost jobs after the pandemic indicate rising hunger levels and missing financial support. Though they announced a lot of migrant workers, they had to suffer rising hunger levels and they did not receive the financial support, missing financial support. Some sections such as Dalits, women and low-skilled workers are even worse off and less advantageous position. Worse off means to be at a less advantageous position. They should be taken care of. How does the editorial end? The last part of the editorial. For the elderly, vulnerable individuals and children below 10, the center's advice is to shelter in place, not to come out, shelter in place, even during the relaxation phase. This is medically sound advice, but cannot be done over a long period in big cities as they cannot access goods and services at their doorstep simply because they are classified as non-essential. To some extent it is practical, this particular advice. To some extent it is feasible, but in the long run it will not work out. That's what the editorial talks about. The course of COVID-19 in the weeks ahead is by no means predictable. That means what? It is unpredictable. You have to remember the phrase, by no means. The course of COVID-19 in the weeks ahead is by no means predictable. And the center recognizes the possibility of new rural clusters emerging due to large-scale return of migrants. We have another potential problem, likely to take place, likely to happen, likely to come into existence. What is that? Emergence, possibility of new rural clusters emerging due to large-scale return of migrants. Many of these migrant workers return home. And because of that, we may expect rural clusters. That means what? A lot of clusters in the countryside or in the rural areas. Whether in the cities or the countryside, Unlock 1 must prioritize some actions. The editorial starts with this idea, it ends on that particular idea. Prioritize some actions. What are they? Create public awareness that the virus is present. That means we have to be vigilant. Starting, it talks about the same thing. Ramp up testing. Another thing, because that has been modest, we could not control the virus to a great extent. So ramp up testing, provide health services, and intensively monitor relief measures. All these have to be focused on. That's all about the editorial, and not a lot of words worth learning, but still, one or two. What is the enrichment from vocabulary point of view? Vigil, an act of staying awake, especially at night, in order to be with a person who is very ill or dying, or to make a protest at night, or to pray. These meanings don't go with the context. Based on the context, what is the meaning of the word vigil? To be alert or to be observant. So remember this one. Traumatic, trauma, from that you get traumatic, important word. Deeply disturbing or distressing. Rigorous, this goes with training or a particular policy or implementation of a policy. Extremely thorough and careful. You can also use the word strict, very strict when it comes to a particular thing. Rigorous training, extremely thorough and careful, not taking any chances. Modest, in this context it means relatively moderate or limited. The spread of the virus we could not control to a great extent, and the containment has been modest. Diligence, an important word, the quality of working carefully with a lot of effort. You put in a lot of effort and you focus on the quality of your work, the quality of working carefully with a lot of effort. You can also think the word diligence means hard working. Unwittingly, important word, unintentionally. Mitigate, we have got many a time. Make something less severe, less serious, or less painful. What are the related words? Assuage, alleviate, all these. Underscore, emphasize. Worse off, appraisal verb. In a less advantageous position, less fortunate or prosperous. It goes with downtrodden people, underprivileged people. What is the word of the day? Diligence. The quality of working carefully with a lot of effort. Part of speech, noun. Word forms, diligence, noun, diligent, adjective, diligently, adverb. Word combinations, diligent nature, work diligently, diligent effort. Put in diligent effort. Synonyms, earnestness, an important word. Keenness, again important word. Assiduity, important word. Antonyms, inactivity, indolence, important word. Lethargy, laziness, lethargy, important word. What is the example? He is known for his diligent nature. Someone is known for his diligent nature. Common error, quite often a lot of people say, this is a common error in our country. Congratulations for your success. It is not correct. The word congratulations takes a preposition on. So what is the correct expression? Congratulations on your success. This is a prepositional combinations. Prepositional combinations are very important from the exam point of view. So for your success is not correct. Remember, on your success. Congratulations on your success. What is there to learn from grammar point of view? Not a lot. Sets the stage. Set the stage for people to do something, to resume. Set the stage for people. Set the stage for the employees. So remember that expression, set the stage, means everything is ready or something has been made ready to do something else. should ensure a careful restarting of activities. Should, either advice or suggestion. Given the history of these sites, remember this expression, given the present situation, given the seriousness of the present situation, given the history of these sites unwittingly becoming super spreaders, important expression, but the states must show diligence in actively testing, must show. Again, it talks about two meanings. One, something is compulsory. The other meaning, it means it is used to express a personal obligation or obligation imposed by the speaker. Can only worsen the crisis. This is again important here. Worsen, that is a verb. Here, helping verb can. After that, if at all you have to use a verb, that should be in bare infinitive. What is bare infinitive? Basic form without to. Worsen is a regular verb. Worsen, worsened, worsened. This has nothing to do with, this word is different. Bad, worse, worst. Worse, that word is different. No one is left behind. Make sure no one is left behind. A standard expression. It goes with everyday English as well as effective English. No one is left behind. The center's advice, you got to be careful, is to shelter in place. Here, you should not use any article before advice if it is used as a noun. And you can use a phrase. A piece of advice is correct, but an advice is not correct. So that has to be recollected. By no means predictable. Something by no means easy means not at all predictable, not at all easy. Again, remember the expression by no means important. Let us have a look at comprehension point of view. What is there to learn? What is this editorial about? It's all about unlocking phase one. What is a truth universally acknowledged now in the context of the editorial? What does the latest data since the virus surfaced in the country show? Latest data show keywords and universally acknowledged truth, universally acknowledged now. Based on these words, you can spot where the answer is. What can only worsen the crisis, especially with resumption of public transport? Again, public transport, worsen the crisis, easy to locate the answer. What is the center's advice for the elderly, vulnerable individuals and children below 10? Again, keywords. Based on those keywords, you can easily spot, you can find out the answer. All that you have to do, navigate, see where those words are there in the editorial, then you find the answer over there. That's all about the editorial. Now, today, I could not bring 10 words, an easy editorial. You see 9 words, write the part of speech, write the meaning. Many of these words are quite familiar. You have got many a time. Should not be a problem to get all the 9 correct. What is the first one? Visual, part of speech, noun. A lot of students have responded. Answer C, that's right. Alert or to be observant. In this context, contextual meaning is very important. Yes. Go to the second one. It is adjective. And what is the meaning of that? Trauma, noun form. Traumatic, adjective. Traumatic experience. Traumatic situation. Answer is deeply disturbing or deeply distressing. A is the answer. Please go to the next one. Part of speech, rigorous. A rigorous part of speech, adjective. A rigorous training, a rigorous procedure. It can't be a noun, it has to be an adjective. What is the meaning of that? Extremely thorough and careful. Answer is B. Extremely thorough and careful. Usually it goes with training, a rigorous training. Rigorous procedure, another combination. Please go to the fourth one. A lot of students are still with the third one. They have been getting it right. Fourth one is also, it is not an adjective. Diligent, adjective. Diligence, noun. He is a diligent student, adjective. The student is known for his or her diligence, then it is a noun. Hard-working nature. Hard-working nature. I am sure many of you are diligent. Many of you have the nature of being showing diligence. Yes, sir, or no, sir? I am sure many of the candidates or students over here, they are diligent, beyond any doubt. No second thoughts about that. Unwittingly. No buffering. I can see your messages. Only one student, then it is a problem at your end. A lot of students say, then there's a problem here. Unwittingly, obviously it is an adverb. Unwitting, unwittingly, adverb. What is the meaning of that? Apparently, yes, sir. That's a very good expression. I appreciate. Not easy to go back and check the name. But though the student who has said apparently, yes, sir, I appreciate that expression. Unwittingly, unintentionally. What is the answer? Go to the sixth one, mitigate. Yaqub, no buffering problem. It is at your end, not at my end. If a lot of people say buffering, then there is a problem. But I don't think there is a problem. Sixth one, I haven't written anything on the sixth one. What is the part of speech? Who is that? Nagamani. Okay, fine. That's a very good expression. Mitigate, part of speech, verb. It is a regular verb. What is the answer? Oh, we have anonymous. Name itself anonymous. That is rather strange. Mitigate, you have got many a time. To make less severe. 1 second you should be able to get. Many of these words, not more than a second. The moment you see, you should be able to get the meaning and the part of speech. Underscore. Underscore is a regular verb. Underscored. It is a verb. And what does it mean? In this context, obviously it is emphasize. Underscore something. Emphasize something. Worse off. This is rather important. It is a phrasal verb. For the first time you have come across, you got to spend a few minutes after the session. Seventh one is over. Eighth one. Worse off, it is a phrasal verb. Phrasal verb, do remember. Meaning, in a less advantageous position. In a less advantageous position. Answer is I. Modest, in this context, relatively restricted, relatively limited. Answer is modest, part of speech, adjective. Modest results, modest containment, adjective. Answer, relatively limited. I will not be surprised if a lot of students say, sir, we have got all the 9 correct. Many of these words are familiar, should not be that difficult to get all the 9 correct. Now let us go to spot the errors. Today I have brought 6 sentences. Oh, thank you very much, Manasa. I don't think I deserve that. Still, I would like to thank you. Please go to spot the errors. Sentence number 1, where is the error? Many of these errors are rather easy. Usually what happens, today, the entire session, after the session, I'm sure many students, they are going to say, sir, today the questions have been quite easy, pretty easy, not quite challenging. One of the reasons, Monday, usually what happens, Monday, there's one expression in English. What is it? Monday blues. Monday blues means what? Monday morning you feel a little depressed. And if I bring very tough questions, obviously, it will be like adding fuel to the fire. So first day of the week, let it be rather easy. Then slowly we can make it, I can bring very tough questions. That's good. All the 9 correct. Wonderful. Please go to spot the errors. Where is the error? Sentence number 1. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asked Indians to stay vigilant than ever against the threat of COVID-19. Very good. Who is this? Komalangi. She has got it right. After that, Manasa, then Bhaskar, Kumar. After that, a lot of students have got it right. One word is missing. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asked Indians to stay more vigilant than ever. One word is missing here. What is that word? More vigilant. More vigilant than ever. This word is missing. Good. Go to the second one. Second one rather easy, but for new students, it is a question that goes with new students. The preposition despite never takes the preposition of. So of should not be there. Despite having no income, during the lockdown, the family donated rice, vegetables and groceries to nearly 1,500 families. That is being magnanimous. Because of that, I think this goes with a person in Tamil Nadu, a barber. Being a barber, no income, whatever savings he had, he kept for his daughter's education. He used about 8.5 lakhs. He helped 1,500 families. And it has been identified, noted by the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister appreciated. That's really good. Let us go to the next one. Sentence number 3. Where is the error? And in spite of, do remember here, despite, what is a related preposition of contrast? In spite of. But don't write in spite one word, of one word. In spite of 3 separate words. That is very important. That's a common error. Now sentence number 3, where is the error? When the lockdown was announced following the outbreak of COVID-19, not many bus drivers were willing to turn out for special duty. Despite is more formal than in spite of. That's wonderful. Who is this? Vishnu Vardhan. I appreciate that. Where is the error? Sentence number 3. Should not be a problem. Turn up. That's right. Who is this? Manisha. Manisha has got it right. Let others also respond. Nothing wrong with for special duty. This question is based on phrasal verb, a particular phrasal verb. Here, turn out is not correct. It should be turn up. Turn up means to appear. To appear for special duty. Turn up. Turn out is not correct. Turn out also means to appear in large numbers. That goes with a big event. The turnout was good for some event. A lot of people coming for the event, we use turnout. But here, individual, the drivers, turn up means what? Show up or appear. Turn up to appear. Go to the next one. Sentence number 4 is also based on a particular phrasal verb. Where is the error? Demands have. That's right. Come off is not correct. What is the correct preposition? I'll write here. Come up. Come up with a brilliant. He has come up with a brilliant idea. They have come up with some demands. Means what? To present. Come up with. To come up with something means to present something. To think of an idea, to think of something. Here it is not come off, it is come up. That's very good. Go to sentence number 5. Tell me where the error is. This is again, if you don't read the sentence meticulously, not easy to spot the error. But if you remember the rule and read the sentence meticulously, 1 second, you can spot the error. Yes, that's right, Rajshekhar. Come up with something. He came up with, it takes a preposition with. Come up with something, an idea, usually a proposal. Yes, a lot of students have got it right. Sentence number 5. Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Here the subject is third person singular. The sentence talks about future action. It should be in future tense. And all the future tenses, there's one important rule. What is it? We use will or shall with first person singular and plural. With other pronouns, we use only will. We cannot use shall. And what is the subject here? Third person singular. Then shall is not correct. It should be will. Here I will write here, I, we, you can use will or shall. Other pronouns, you, he, she, it, they. Only will. We cannot use shall. The Prime Minister will share his vision, not shall. Go to the last sentence number 6. Where is the error? The irony, the paradox, say diplomats, is that the perception of Mr. Oli as anti-India only went back about 5 years. This is a bit difficult, not easy. That's right, but what is the correct expression? Went back is not correct. Someone says, who is that? Sunita says, went back is not correct. What is the correct expression? This is an important question. Goes back, that is right. It is not went back. It should be goes back. You may ask, sir, why the verb in present? This is an important question because the sentence has 3 verbs. Based on that, you have to decide the context. The context is, it is about a fact. Say present, is that present. The irony, say diplomats, is that the perception of Mr. Oli as anti-India only goes back about 5 years. That is a fact. It goes back about 5 years. It is not went back, goes back. All the verbs in present, but not easy, based on question of the day. Who is at Nagamani? That's right. This is the question of the day. Contextual awareness. This is based on what I call contextual awareness. 5 out of 6, very good. All the 6, that's wonderful. Now please go to close test. Some words are very important, some of these words, but you have learnt already. Still try to get. When you feel something is easy, it could be spot the errors, it could be close, it could be parrot jumble. Try to get maximum. If you feel this one is rather easy, at any cost you have to get all the 6 correct. That should be the attitude, that should be the approach. Yes, you have to read contextually and meticulously. Very good. Vishnuvardhan. 2 key words, contextual awareness and meticulous reading. Very important. The number of COVID-19 cases worldwide ~1.4. No. Surge 6 million Sunday. That is not right. 1.4 is not correct. Avinash Kumar says topped. That is right. Anti-India. And what is the other word? Anti-India stand. That is also right. Anti-Indian. That is also right. Anti-India stand. That is also right. 1, it is the 5th word, topped. The number, what is the subject here? The number of COVID-19 cases worldwide topped 6 million Sunday, as Brazil registered another record. 1 is not 4, 1 is 5. Here you have to use the verb, not the noun. 2 is 4, that's right. Here, registered another record, surge. What is the meaning of the word surge? Sudden increase, sudden spike. Second one is surge. In daily infections and divisions depend on how to deal with the pandemic. Latin American countries are, that is an important word. Very good. 𝐒𝐄𝐈𝐀 has got it right. After that, I see Sirisha has got it right. Sixth one, or bracing for. Here, this is grammar knowledge, or doing something. The sentence should be in present continuous. The verb in present participle form or ing form. Only one verb is there. Obviously, it has to be bracing, getting ready. Getting ready to adopt or embrace or take something, implement something. Bracing for difficult weeks ahead. Getting ready for difficult weeks ahead. What is the next one? This contrasts to other parts of the world where the pace has eased. That's right. Second one. The pace has eased and permitted a cautious exit from lockdowns that have. 1 is correct. That have wrecked. Again, use grammar knowledge. Have, you need a verb in past participle form. And wrecked, negative context. Negative context, you have to use a negative word. What is the meaning of the word wrecked? Wreck means to damage to a great extent. Usually it goes with ships. We use a noun form, shipwreck. Wreck is also a verb. What is the last one? And you're left with stripped millions of their jobs. That means millions have lost their jobs. Wreak havoc, that's good. That is a typical combination, wreak havoc. Who has got all the 6 correct? Now go to the para-jumble. This para-jumble, difficult. If you get this right, you should be very happy. Not at all easy. 1 and 2 rather difficult. Once you get 1 and 2, then you can get the entire correct order. But you miss 1 and 2, then it's gone. You go off the track. All the 6 correct. That's very good. Wonderful. Please go to the para-jumble. Why not stripped the first place? The number of COVID-19 cases worldwide stripped to 6 million Sunday. No, that doesn't make any sense. Here, the last one, stripped millions of their jobs. Strip means to remove. First, you should know the meaning of the word strip. It has a negative connotation. It has a positive connotation. Usually negative, no positive connotation. But negative connotation, again, extremely bad and moderate. I don't want to talk about that extremely bad or extremely negative. This is not the right platform. But strip means to remove. Remove millions of their jobs. It is the right word. The last word should be stripped millions of their jobs. Now let us go to the para-jumble. What is 1? Some students say 1B. Let some more. Yakub says 1B and one more. Sirisha says 1B. Sidhu says 1B. Let some more students respond. I would like to give some time because so many parts, lengthy parts, you need to go through all the parts. I don't want to be hasty. Yes, 1B, that's right. I will write here B. To the outside world, China seeks to project a picture of monolithic unity behind President Xi Jinping's highly centralized leadership. Think of the writers, different writers, they have different styles. A typical style, a typical model. They present a statement, then they try to present contrasting information. And you have to look for contrasting words. 1B is absolutely right. What is 2? What is the second one? To the outside world, China seeks to project a picture of monolithic unity. Monolithic, important word. Solid structure. Mono means one, lithic means stone, a single stone. In this context, it means rock solid unity. Two, E. That's right. Here, contrasting. You can make out based on the contrasting word. However, the opening statement talks about unity, picture of monolithic unity behind someone's leadership. Xi Jinping's highly centralized leadership. However, media tropes point to a greater scrutiny of his role. His stands for President Xi Jinping, his role and leadership style. Now, what is the third one? Very good. Someone has written, Nagamani says, third one is C. After that, a lot of students. Absolutely right. Especially during the early stages of the COVID-19 outbreak in Wuhan. So here, BEC, that is one group. Statement, contrasting information, especially. What is a clue for you? Especially during the early stages of COVID-19 outbreak in Wuhan city. What is the fourth one? Fourth one should be D, independent statement. What is it? Reports have surfaced delays, alleging delays in reporting facts, conflicting instructions, and tight censorship. All these go with during the early stages of the COVID-19 outbreak in Wuhan. So these two are continuity of thought, continuity of line of thought, BECD. After that, it becomes rather easy. 5 and 6 should not be a problem. What is the fifth one? Observers have drawn parallels between Mr. Xi and his powerful predecessors, important word, Mao Zedong and Deng Xiaoping, perhaps a tad unfairly to both iconic architects of the People's Republic of China. So this is the fifth one, and this is the last one, AF. Has anyone got all the 6, the correct order, B, E, C, D, A, F? That is highly appreciable. Because you haven't got a lot of time, still getting all the 6 correct, getting the correct order, not an easy task, rather uphill task, highly appreciable. Please go to consolidation idioms. That's wonderful. Getting all the 6, highly appreciable. That's what I said. Tough to guess 1 and 2. After that, once you get 1 and 2 right, it becomes rather easy. Bear the burden. Bear the burden means what? 1, not E. No, that is not right. 1C is correct. To endure something distressing, painful, stressful. Bear the burden. C is the answer. Interesting para-jumble, that's right. And challenging, rather challenging. You may get something like that in the exam. It has a potential. Under pressure, it is not at all easy. 1 and 2 and 5 and 6. You may go off the track. 3 and 4, rather easy. 2B, bear the brunt. Put up with the worst of some bad circumstance. It should be F. Bear the brunt. What is the answer? F is the answer. Bear with. Please bear with the delay. Please bear with the noise. This goes with everyday English. Bear with, to be patient with someone or something. Answer is, here you have to use E. Please bear with the delay, a typical expression. It goes with everyday English. Bear testimony to. Testimony means evidence. Based on that, you can easily make out. 4A, that's right. To support or prove a claim or idea. 4A is correct. Bear in mind. This is rather easy. Please keep in mind, bear in mind, quite often we say, bear in mind what is the answer. To remember, think about or consider. And what is the last one? Last one is rather easy. Bear false witness, to lie about or misrepresent the truth. False witness, from that you can make out lie about, misrepresent the truth. B is the answer. Has anyone got all the 6 correct? Not 5, 6 idioms. That is again highly appreciable. Let us go to the next exercise, phrasal verb consolidation. Phrasal verbs rather. 5 is also highly appreciable. 6, wonderful. I appreciate that. Shivakumar, Nagamani, and a lot of Sunil, Shalini, Manas, a lot of students have got Divya. Please go to the next one, phrasal verbs. 1E, call for. Publicly ask for or demand. Answer is 1 is C, call up. That is rather difficult. 1C is correct. What is the second one? Second one rather difficult. You should get, no, 1 is C, publicly ask for or demand. Called for. The situation calls for something. The situation calls for immediate action. That's what we say. 2 is call up, no. 2 is not E. 2 is D, that's right. I appreciate the one who has got it right. 2D. An order to join a military organization. Call up. An order to join a military organization. Call out. What is the next one? Call out. It has got many meanings. You have to choose here. It should be the last option, E. Call out, asking someone for help. Call out for help, usually we say. Called out, the fire department for help. Ask for help. That's right. Go call off. Quite often, sports page, you see this one. The match has been called off due to heavy rain. What does it mean? Cancel. Easy. The easiest rather. What are you left with? Called by. To visit for a short while. My friend called by yesterday. Visited for a short while. Called by. Has anyone got all the 5 correct? That is again highly appreciable. Please go to the last exercise. Challenging, the most challenging exercise. Consolidation. A few words are rather difficult. You should get all the 10 correct. Many of these words, who is that? Mahendra Singh got all the 5 correct. That's wonderful. And also Pravalika, I suppose. So difficult to read out the names. Please go to the next exercise. Pravalika has got all the 5 correct. And Shrujina also. New names, that's wonderful. Perhaps new students, or they have been there for quite some time. Go to the last exercise. What is the first one? Posturing. Part of speech. It could be a verb, it could be a noun, and it could be an adjective. Encouraging. But posture, basic form is verb, right verb. It could be any other part of speech. And what is the answer? Encouraging. Posture, developing, encouraging. And endemic, rather easy. What is the meaning of endemic? Disease, part of speech, adjective. It could be a noun sometimes, but usually endemic disease, meaning native. G is the answer. Restricted to a particular place. Go to the next one. Deciduous. This goes with trees, and there's one types of forests. We have deciduous forests. Deciduous forests means what? Adjective. And what is the meaning? Deciduous trees, they shed the leaves periodically. Answer J, shedding. That's right. Modulating, easy one. Modulate your voice. Modulating, part of speech, it could be modulate verb. Modulating could be a noun, it could be an adjective. What is the meaning of that? 4. Yes, it is modifying. An easy one, should not be a problem. And go to the next one. Sustenance. This is an important word. You should get these two right. Sustenance, what is the meaning? Sustenance, part of speech, noun, sustenance of something. Five is not adjective, it is a noun. Answer. I is the answer. Maintenance. Sustain, maintain, hold for a long time. Disruption, part of speech, noun, disrupt, verb. What is the meaning of that? Easy. Disturbance, interruption. Disrupt, interrupt, disturb. Disruption of services, a typical combination. Rob, part of speech, verb. Robbed of something. Answer, it goes with everyday English, steal. This is important. Subsistence. What are you left with? Nourishment. F is the answer. Eighth one. Please go to the eighth one. No, imperative means importance. Here, imperative. That is adjective, and answer B, importance. The last one is B, impoverishment, loss of wealth. This is noun, and answer is C. What are you left with? Subsistence. This is also a noun, and you are left with nourishment. F is the answer. B goes with 10th one. 9th one, not C. 9th one is C. That is right. Already have made a note. Loss of wealth, loss of something, impoverishment, impoverished, poor person. That's wonderful. Not easy to get all the 10 correct. That's all for today. Now it is 9:03. I said there would be a surprise. A lot of students must be thinking, so what is a surprise? No surprise, that itself is a surprise. I'm just joking. You will have the surprise tomorrow, not today. And you have to wait for one more day. And that surprise will be tomorrow. That's all for today. Hope you guys have got enriched. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. I will see you tomorrow with another editorial to enrich your language proficiency. Thank you very much. I was just joking. Okay.